Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a request for Jason. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it. PayPal's usually the best bet. You can also send it via Cash App or join my Patreon because people have asked about that. Those links are in the info box. It could be for, again, a review, a video game playthrough, or trying it out for an hour, re-review of a movie or a commentary or a topic, a reaction, random thoughts on some piece of movie news, tier list, ranking, whatever the case may be. I'll get to as soon as I can, and for those who have sent it, thank you. I'll get to it as soon as I can. But Jason had me reviewing Escape Room and the sequel, Escape Room Tournament of Champions, which came out 2021. Now, I should mention both films are from the same director. I forget the director's name because I'm bad with names, but he directed The Taking of Deborah Logan, which I thought was actually pretty good. I guess you'd call like found footage. Some point's trying to be a fake documentary. This is about a crew looking at someone who they think has an affliction, but then there's something else going on. I do like that movie, The Taking of Deborah Logan. I think that's actually a pretty good flick, but... And the first Escape Room did make a good chunk of change for January, so you got this sequel. I'm pausing because I need to laugh. I watched the film, then I looked up info on the film, and I realized I watched the extended cut, which is a fairly different film from the theatrical cut. So, Jason, I may be describing stuff that you're wondering, what the hell am I talking about? Am I on drugs? Trust me, there's no drugs in this. But I did look up the theatrical cut and the differences, and it seems like the cut I watched was the better cut. Now, much like the first one, I didn't hate this film. The Escape Room set pieces, if you don't care about them, you don't care about them, and you're not going to see this film anyway. For me, I like the creativity, the inventiveness, what you could do with them, and how goofy, crazy, silly some of these rooms got, but I kind of had fun with it. Maybe because I didn't mention this in my review of the first film. When I was a kid, I had this idea... You know, you're a kid, you have these silly ideas for movies of, you know, this group of people are put in this one section in the middle of nowhere in the jungle or something, but there's a big facility where this rich maniacal guy just created this crazy huge facility where people have to go from one room to the other and escape, and all these crazy traps and adventure and peril and horror and gore and all this other stuff, and there's bad guys there and good guys there, and they all work together or work against each other, and there's like a bunch of people. I just kind of like Squid Game, as it would be, to make a comparison for nowadays, meets Running Man, meets Cube, meets all this other stuff, you know. Then they're like, well, how does that work logistically? How does that work, you know, other ways? But you're just like, I don't care. I just want to see the adventure. So maybe, like, in a way, the teeny bit of this kind of twitched something for me, and maybe that's why I'm being lenient on these movies, but are there problems with these movies? Yes. I mean, they're not gory. If you're going for gore, you're going to be very disappointed. The characters are very meh. I mean, I would say even the characters in the first film had a bit more backstory to them, and that was very little, compared to these guys, which is even less so. I don't think the acting was too bad, aside from one or two people, to be fair. And again, the cut I saw, it didn't make me mad. It just kind of like, oh, okay, and if they made a third one, I don't know which version they would use. Because I think more people probably saw this version now, since a lot of streaming services have this version on there. But Taylor Russell and Logan Miller return from the first film as Zoe and Ben. The version I saw of the film, the extended cut, which is, I don't know, they say 8 minutes longer, but it's probably not as long as it is. I don't know. It flashes to the first film, so you did a recap of the first film, and then we're with this guy who's working behind the scenes developing these escape room traps. He's got a wife, he's got a daughter. The wife is saying, I'm going to take Claire away from you, and the husband's like, oh, please, wait, just give me an hour. I have under a lot of stress here. The wife relents. She goes out for a swim. She goes back to get a shower, and she gets trapped in the shower. And it's another game. It's another, like, a little mini escape room where she's got to figure out these clues and try to get this magnet to open up this door, but it's not in time, and the person dies. Then we cut to present day, where we have the plane test that was at the end of the first film, and that guy is, behind the scenes is much older. He's with this group of people, and he goes to this place with his daughter, Claire, who's, of course, much older now, and she's trapped in a room, kind of like held prisoner there. And I guess the idea is that she designs rooms for her dad. Like, she wants out of there. She doesn't want to be here. She feels like a prisoner. But her dad is keeping her there a lot. I mean, okay, it's trying to add a little bit of, like, a mythology, a little bit of backstory to what's going on, which I don't mind here, because it could potentially be interesting. Meanwhile, we go back to our lead characters from the last film, and like it's about 6 months later from the first film, and they want to try to find who this organization is, bring them down. I mean, why they think, a student who, for a chunk of the first movie, was a shy, nervous introvert, and a guy who was a stop boy that didn't do a whole lot. Why you think you two could take down this organization, but, it's a movie. I don't know what to tell you. She's going to get on the plane, and it's going to be the plane that, unknowingly to them, is going to be this big escape room. They're like, no, I don't want to be on the plane. I changed my mind. They leave, and they're going to drive there. Now, I thought Logan Miller did a bit better job as Ben, where he seemed a little less douchey. I did like the bit where he says, I have this weird loyalty thing for ones who saved my life, and that's why he is going along with this, because he feels he owes his life to this girl. I also like the fact that they do, like, the guy's still affected by this. He has nightmares where they're in a hotel room. It's like, oh my god, it's another escape room. It's crushing them. He wakes up. Because I'm like, okay, it would make sense. It makes sense that the last time we saw this guy, he was almost crushed in a room. Like, he would have a bit of PTSD or a bit of nervousness. The fact that it's not just nothing happened. Because that's not always the case with a sequel. A lot of times, it's like, oh yeah, I was scared, but I don't have any lasting psychological effects of it. So I like that they put that in there. So the two of them get to this place where this building's at. There's some person there who steals something they need. They run after them and chase them to the subway car. The guy gets out. Our two leads are locked in there. The subway car goes along its merry way, and then it does a detour, and it stops somewhere, and you find out the other people in there, the 4 other people, they were survivors or winners of their games. Now, how in the fuck you get all 6 of these people in the same subway car and nobody else? That might be the most unrealistic thing of both movies. I can't answer that. It makes no damn sense. Like, how the hell does that happen? Like, okay, these two, but what about the other four? And then the fact you did no one who's not part of the game. You don't have them on there. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, they never explain, and there's no way to explain it. So you just either go, come on, or you... that could have been done a bit better. I mean, you could have had it where, I don't know... maybe when, I mean... honestly, they did knocked out. Someone comes in, they get tranquilized, knocked out, and they wake up in the subway car. There you go. We've been monitoring these people. We know where they're at. We knock them out. We bring them here. Boom, dump them. Pump some stuff into them to wake them up, and then get the hell out of Dodge. And it's a subway car. Like, you could have done that. It would have actually made more sense than this. But, it is what it is. And even I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Like, in the first film, how are these other people winners when the whole idea is that if you win, you don't get killed? Because that's what happened to Logan Miller's character. He won, but the guy tried to kill him, but then Zoe killed him. Well, at least they explain later where the girl Claire goes, well, after you won, Zoe, what you did, they actually liked that, so now each time there was a game after you guys, I guess in the ensuing 6 months, there's always been a winner. Or they always had a winner who would survive. Now, the whole idea of a tournament of champions, which, yes, someone does go, what is this? Some kind of Suicide Squad? What is this? Some kind of tournament of champions? It's like, oh man. Like, did you have to put the title in someone's mouth for the dialogue? But it's just, okay, they're champions, but I mean, they're just a little bit better at playing the game than the people in the first movie. Other than that, it doesn't really mean anything else, it being a tournament of champions. It's, for the most part, the same movie as the first. 6 people, a series of escape rooms, and people dwindle down and die one by one. The addition, at least in the extended cut, is this whole father-daughter, the daughter being Claire, that whole thing, which I'll get to in a few minutes. But what's funny is that you don't get a lot of backstory with the other characters, but you hear what their escape rooms were, and you think, man, that could have been interesting. Like, one was, oh, none of us could feel pain. So I'm like, okay, so what escape room would that be? Or series of escape rooms with a group of people that don't feel pain? Or, okay, one was a priest. Okay, what kind of escape rooms would you have that all involve priests? So it would be centered on, what... It just seems like there's a lot of other interesting stuff from their respective... Like, one was a escape room in a submarine. I'm like, what? How neat would that be? Like, in a submarine? That'd be kind of cool to have a escape room in a submarine, like how that entails. Also, if it was like 4 or 5, were they all in a submarine? Like, how does that work? And yeah, or was it just one in a submarine? I mean, see, yeah, that was kind of intriguing. Now, yes, the rooms, I mean, they're ridiculous. They're sci-fi. But I had some dumb fun with the set pieces. Again, I just like, okay, what creative stuff are they going to do next? Or what off-the-wall stuff are they going to do next? So the subway, the rich people put these electrical things on, and everything's electrified. And it's like, okay, well, there's clues and there's misspellings on the ads, so then they got to find all the ads that are misspelled and whatever letters missing. They got picked the right thing to pull down. They did a subway token to put into this. Like, I mean, that stuff is kind of fun to me. That stuff is, again, Indiana Jones, National Treasure, looking for clues, puzzle. Like, something about that just entices me. So there's still an aspect in it. My favorite would probably be in the bank, where if you step on the wrong tile, there's all these lasers. Now, granted, there are times where it's rushing so fast. There's a lot of conveniences where it's like, oh, well, they just happen to figure this out. Or, oh, they just happen to know this. Now, granted, because they're champions, they have experience, they're going to be in a different ballpark mentally than I would be. But it's like, they get in the bank, and within 30 seconds, one of them notices, wait a minute, those lollipops. There's a T in one of them. I'm like, really? It hasn't even been 30 seconds or so. And you already saw that. Like, but because a lot of this is time, so you gotta go fast, gotta go fast, gotta go fast. And in order to do that in a quick manner, it's like they gotta bring up these conveniences. But I kind of like the idea that they find that there's a map, there's a way that there's a certain way you have to go, which made me think of like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when he had to spell out the word of God. Those are what made me think of. So, but I like that kind of stuff. Those kind of traps puzzles are kind of fun to see. One was a beach where it's in a room, so there's like a fake sun and a fake moon, and then the place starts sinking. They gotta try to figure stuff out. Now, of the other characters, like you have your two leads, the other four, there's not a whole lot to them. One guy, he dies in the first game, so he's not in it that much to really say anything about. One is a girl who's a bit more steered than the others. One is another girl who a little bit more in control than the others, and one is the priest guy. I guess the priest guy was maybe the little bit more interesting, because this is a bit where he doesn't know why he lived. His faith in God's been shook. So in the bench section, he's like, he's taking these risks because they have little time, and like, no, stop. And he's like taking this risk, and then if it's a safe tile, he leaves a lollipop. He said, "No, this is what I'm meant for. This is what I'm meant for. This is why God spared me." So it's like he's not being a dick. Like, he's got good intentions, and it's like people are scared. People do dumb things when they're scared, and you're willing to do risky things when it's like, we don't have a whole lot of time. You guys are figuring stuff out. I need to do something. So it's like I could see, while it's not the brightest idea, I could see his mentality, whether right or wrong. And he means well, if that makes sense. But I kind of wish he was in the film more. I wish we had more establishment, like more meat to the character. And I wish he would have lasted a lot longer. Does I think you could have really gotten some stuff out of, Priest and his faith shook and dealing with these people that they're playing God, and this is a guy who believes in God, and that with a better writing, more established element of a script, to try to go a little bit more higher than, empty entertainment. You could have really gotten some, you could have gotten some stuff out of it. A little bit more of the, blood from a stone. A little bit more meat to the bone. But, it is what it is. And spoilers, even in the beach section, one of the characters is sinking, and the priest does, he goes in, he saves her. He's got a rope tied around, gets her out, he's coming out, but how the rope breaks, he sinks in, he dies, saving her. But then you realize it was all for nothing, because in the next bit, where it's in the city, at this point there's three of them. There's one you think is dead, but they're not dead, and whatever. It's in the city theme where there's acid, and then this, I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute, like, this is all about who's going to be a winner, but they kind of change the rules, they kind of cheat a little bit, where they all figure out what to do, they find the cab, the taxi cab, but then the cab locks our lead girl Zoe in, and just locks the other two out. Now, usually in these situations, the other characters have to do something wrong. They have to do something incorrect. They have to do something they screwed up, and then they die for what happens. That didn't happen in this. It's just, well, shit. These two are alive, but they can't be alive because we have nothing for them later on in the movie. So they gotta die here. Now, they didn't do anything stupid. They didn't do anything wrong. They just, It does not defeat the purpose of the whole game betting thing. What, just because she got to the cab first? But you didn't say that was a rule? You didn't say that was... I don't know. Just something about that rubbed me the wrong way. It just felt pretty lazy and went, well, we gotta kill these two people, so yeah, lock the door, they can't get in, and we kill them with acid. And this bad looking CGI shot from very far away, because this film is that gory, is that grisly. I don't know what the rating is, but if it was PG-13, I wouldn't be surprised. If it's rated R, I would be surprised. So I don't know what the rating for it is. What is this rated? I think PG-13. So, yeah, PG-13. Yeah, that's what I figured. So yeah, that is what it is, so to speak. I don't know, it just... I think people would have liked to see a bit more visceralness to the matter. And again, for being a game, like, this ain't fair. To leave those other two out, that ain't fair. It ain't gonna play a fair game, then what's the point? Just, have a room where it's a bomb and it explodes and, whoop, you're all dead. Whoop-de-doo. I don't know. Now, this is where the two cuts really differ, because Zoe gets taken, and in the cut I saw, she gets taken to this girl named Claire, and she says, hey, your friend Ben is alive, I saved him, and I need your help to get out of this room because my dad is crazy. And so Zoe helps this girl get out of her room and solve this puzzle in order to then help Ben and all that stuff. I guess in the theatrical cut, the girl would have been Amanda. The girl who I kept calling Karen Page. Because she's Karen Page in the Netflix Daredevil show. The veteran in the first movie that was in the upside down room and fell, and she saved everyone's lives, but she fell. She survived, because I guess in the fall, for some reason, they had a bed, or a cushion, I should say, like a big, like those stunt, when people would have 5 fall stunts, they have one of those, like, big cushions, airbag, big airbag, they catch her. I'm sitting there going, why would they have that? Why would they let her out of the blue live? And then they're going to keep her to have her make games. And she's going to say yes so that her daughter is safe. Now, she did mention... I think she mentioned she had a daughter in the first, but why would he get someone who is known for being a veteran What does she know about making puzzles and games? And it just, that doesn't make sense. It's like, well, we want this girl Amanda alive because people liked her in the first one, so we're gonna BS our way out of it. And she's had her arm twisted in helping these folks, but then ultimately she helps Zoe and Ben out, and the three of them make it out of there. And again, I'm like, but that doesn't make any damn sense. It just, I mean, I like her, so it's nice in a version she lives. It's bullshit, but this felt like it made a little bit more sense where it's, no, it's this new character, Claire, and she mentions how they liked what you did, so they allow folks to live after you, after your, there's a big, I guess, some type of excitement, I guess. Grand, you think if you allow these folks to live, if enough people tell the story of, wait a minute, there's this game, these rich people, like, well, wait a minute, I've, in Chicago, and then in this place, and this person has said they were part of this escape room thing too. You think then that would spread, especially if they told the papers, they told the news, internet, YouTube, whatever, that, you know, they would get found out. They want that to be a bit more secret, but I don't know. So even that idea of, well, they allow people to live after you, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense either. But okay. So Zoe gets Claire out, and they both save Ben. Once again, Ben, that guy is just a damsel in distress. Like, he needs saved by Zoe in the first movie. He needs saved by Zoe here in this movie. You think you would have, okay, Zoe save Ben, now have Ben save Zoe and get his turn. They even have the line I said earlier. Have this weird loyalty thing for ones who saved my life. Now have it where she's trapped, and like I would say, I would have reversed it. I would have been where Zoe gets caught, and she's, oh, Zoe, you're the last survivor. You know, I mean, you gave us a loop, but now you're in this puzzle by yourself, and we'll see what happens. How lucky that you, how serendipitous, how fate, luck, karma that you're the last one, and they would think Ben is a nobody. He made it out because of Zoe, and he would have been dead already, and they don't look twice on him, and okay, then that would give Ben something to shine, and Claire would say Ben, and Ben's like, I'm not good at puzzles like her, but then he tries, and you know, this is what he's made for, and he's successful, and then with the help saves Zoe, and tit for tat. I think it would have been better if it was reversed, and would make feel even more different. But this bit I didn't mind. Like, the bit that I found kind of interesting is, after they save Ben, the dad of Claire comes in. He's got a gun. Claire puts her dad in this thing and tells Zoe, you and Ben get out of here. I'll take care of this. I'm going to call the cops, and they're trapped in here, and everything's fine. And so, by the end of the film, Zoe and Ben are fine. They're fine. I mean, if you don't make any more, which in the theatrical is not the case, because at the end of the theatrical, the two are on that plane. That's the escape room. The thing that was promised at the end of the first one, they're there at the end of the second film. So, the way the theatrical ends is this ending where, oh, they're in an escape room, but it's on a plane. Will they live? Will they die? Well, up to you, especially if they don't make the third one. But I like this better, because they both leave. Now, the hook, which I thought was kind of interesting, was Claire is more psycho than her dad. like Claire's the one that came up with these games, but she was a bad kid. And then we see flashes of her life, and those flashes are what these games were based on. So her mom taking her to the bank, and these lollipops she wanted, same lollipops you see at the bank. You know, all these other little bits. You know, her hanging out at the beach was kind of like the beach in this movie. She was a bad seed. She was a bad kid, and she wanted to see if her parents would love her, no matter what awful things she did. And when her mom kind of threatened that she was going to do something, she took care of her mom. And that was why her dad kept her in isolation. Now, the dad's a bad guy as well. They're both bad guys, bad people. But that's why the dad kept her in isolation. Kept her trapped, because he knew that if she got out, she'd be, I don't know, Jigsaw 2.0, I don't know. So then she's like, looked at her dad going, you took credit for what I did. And not only that, you censored me. You took my games, my rooms, and you watered them down. You're going to be so proud of me when you see what I can really do, Dad. And then she, you're assuming, kills everybody, all those bad guys. And she don't walk out, just plan her own psycho super duper escape rooms wherever the hell. And it seems like she's not going to really be bothering Zoe, because he kind of seems like she kind of respects Zoe, because they both lost a mom, and they're both strong. So it almost becomes like, wow, now we got like the hero, we got like the supervillain and Claire, and it makes you intrigued. Well, it makes me a bit intrigued. It's like, where would this go? Like, what games is she going to pull if these were the censored ones? I almost want to say that, I know it's not, I'm giving them too much credit, but I almost want to say when she said the word censored, because these are PG-13, maybe it's like her games would actually have blood and gore. I mean, why not? I mean, hell, these films, if they make another one, it probably goes streaming. You might as well be R-rated. In fact, even in theaters, if these were R-rated, I think they would have been done fine. Look at the Saw films. Look at Saw 11. Or Saw 10, I'm sorry. They're making 11. So, I mean, I have a lot of problems with the film, but if they did another one where they go even more buck wild with the rooms and make it R-rated, go for practical gore, not just CG gore, strengthen the characters more, give Logan Miller's here to Ben a bit more to do. But at the same time, like I said, these are like time wasters that I didn't get mad at, but I'm not going to defend either. And at least with that extended cut, Zoe and Ben in a way have an ending. Like, they think they succeeded. They just don't know that Claire's going to, they open Pandora's box. But that leaves stuff a little bit intriguing that you're never going to see. Because I don't think this film, I don't know, how did this film do? I'm curious. Like I said, it has its problems. Like I said, the other characters, there's not a whole lot to them. There's a lot of conveniences in terms of the script. The other stuff I've said. But I'm, as a time waster, the set pieces were fun. I don't mind the two lead actors. The stuff about the Claire stuff, there's potential of interesting things. Potential. But it was definitely a feeling of more of the same of the first one. So this made $25 million in the US, $40 million overseas, $66 million worldwide on a $15 million budget. So, but that's the problem, though. If they do a sequel, they don't do a sequel to the theatrical version. which means it's going to end with Claire, and those tears are not even going to be a part of it. So I guess actually, now that I think about it, I don't want a sequel. Because they don't use the theatrical cut, which the more interesting stuff I talked about was not in the theatrical cut. So, there you go. But I mean, as is, I've seen much worse films. Take care or leave it. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.